Welcome to the Win, Make, Give podcast. Chad Himes here, joined by my annoyed friend, Bob Stewart. Bob, how are you today?
Oh, I'm fired up, Chad.
Okay, folks, I'm going to put this out there right away. One, we have not really prepared this episode the way we have others, so this one's going to really be off the cuff. But boy, did we get fired up when I threw this topic out, and we just wanted to record an episode. And two, if you have children listening, put earphones on. Because I have this feeling that at some point during this, Bob is definitely not going to be able to contain himself and the language.
I might swear.
You might swear once or twice. Bob, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about pet peeves.
Yes.
Pet peeves, Chad. And not honestly, let's just be honest.
Yep.
I don't know if there's going to be like a great message out of this or some action you should take or other than don't be a moron, I guess. No, I'm just
All right. So we are doing this because I was reading an article the other day and it actually recommended, Bob, that sharing pet peeves is a huge team building bonding experience because usually laughter turns into it. Usually someone does one of the pet peeves. So it's a way of not necessarily saying, Bob, I can't stand when you, and it just becomes something that becomes a joke with everybody on the team. So it's a great bonding, building trust type of relationship.
I mean, I guess that would be the case unless you see yourself in all the pet peeves your coworkers bring up, right? All of a sudden you're looking around, you're like, I think everybody's talking about me.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody out there has a pet peeve.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we might address some of them. We might not address some of them. We'll
ask in the Facebook group, right? We'll make sure everybody comes to facebook.com/groups/winmakegive.
Yes!
And we will post and ask you guys, what are some of your... they're not favorite, but like, what are your favorite pet peeves? Like, what are your top pet peeves? What are the things that really, really irk you when you see or watch or hear people doing them?
All right. So a pet peeve is a particular thing that bugs you every single time. It's not like, oh, I'm just in a mood today.
Okay.
It's something that annoys you to no end.
Interesting. I don't know that I ever knew the definition of pet peeve. So it's every time that thing annoys me, that is a pet peeve.
I cannot see the word a lot and not want to jump through a screen and punch
a lot
somebody
with no space
when they spell it as one word. That's not a word. A-L-O-T is not a word. It is A-L-O-T.
Yeah.
2 words. Nothing drives me crazier, Bob, and I have gotten to the point I will unfriend you on Facebook.
I wish you guys could see in here. Like, his face is kind of red right now. Like, he is really fired up about a lot.
No, and I know that people hear this and then they think they're being funny. So on my next Facebook post, they'll say, Chad, I really like that a lot, right? I have unfriended people for less. I will just tell you.
Wow.
All right. Bob, give me a personal pet peeve of yours.
Probably my number one pet peeve is people driving slow in the left lane. I cannot stand it, Chad. In fact,
if you're that person right now driving slow in the left lane listening to this, move.
Get out of the way. Like, what are you doing? Especially if there's nobody in the right lanes. Like, everybody's driven up on this person. I like to go 5 to 10 miles an hour over the speed limit at all times.
Sure.
And there's always that one person in the left lane. My stepdad, Sam Heronsberger, rest in peace, Sam, he would get behind somebody who was in the left lane and he would honk and flash his lights, even if he could easily go around him in the right lane. Like, he was going to teach them a lesson that you do not drive in the left lane. And for people that might not, I don't know how this is in other states. I've basically grown up my entire life in Washington, but if you drive on the freeways here in Washington State, there are signs all over the place that say the left lane is for passing.
Yes.
Like, get over to the right. I don't remember exactly what the sign says, but it's basically like, get in the right lane if you're not passing somebody, and the left lane is for passing. That drives me insane.
And Bob, it brings up a funny story. One of my buddies from high school, his dad actually installed bright lights in the back window. And when someone would come up behind him, like your stepdad, and do that, because he would be going 60 in the 60.
What an a-hole.
He'd flip a switch. And
your friend's dad is a real a-hole. You want to, like, he basically thinks that his time is more valuable than everybody else's time, and he's just going to sit in the left lane. I can't believe that. That is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard, Chad Himes.
Andrew, that's to your dad. There you go. So, folks, I warned you at the beginning of this episode. Now, Dave's not mic'd up, but we were having the boy, don't mention double dipping around Dave. Because he's just gonna drink the ranch dressing and then put it back in the bowl.
Well, here's why he got so fired up, because I was like, you know what? That doesn't really bother me. And he's like, are you serious? It doesn't bother you? So like, if I just pick the whole bowl up and just start licking the bowl, like you're okay with that? I'm like, no, I don't think that's actually what double dipping is. But like, I don't know. I'm just not like germs don't bother me. My wife, on the other hand, she's with Dave. Like if she sees our 4-year-old double dip, she's like, what are you doing? Like,
oh. Okay, so Bob, we did a little quick research as we started talking. We just said, let's go. And boy, this is going to be interesting. All right. So here were some of the more popular personal pet peeves that were out there.
Okay.
Then we're going to shift this over to the business side so we can actually bring you some lessons, because if they're everyone's pet peeves and you're doing them, stop. 1, people who have to one-up every story, right? That person who has to one-up it every time. How about sidewalk hogs?
Oh,
You can't get around them.
you know what?
It's like walking in the
Chad.
not left lane.
My wife, I'm going to interject probably on every single one. I have a story because I'm a pet peeve. When we go somewhere, if somebody's like, if they're just moseying, or if like Disneyland, we go to Disneyland, if somebody stops in the middle of the walkway, like I will talk shit on the way by. I'm like, oh yeah, just go ahead, stop right in the middle. Like,
so I'm not the only one who calls them out.
No, I do it, man. I'm like, and I kind of under my breath, but I hope they hear me. But like, those people, they're so oblivious, by the way, that they don't even probably hear what's going on. But
sure.
Oh yeah, I can't.
Does your wife tell you to be quiet? Because my wife tells me to be quiet when I do that.
Shut up. I'm like, what? Like they think they own the sidewalk. Like they just stopped in the middle. Like, yeah, that's
tailgaters. Makes the common list of pet peeves. People that tailgate. So you're
get out of the left lane, and that wouldn't be a problem for you, right?
All right, non-apology apologies. People say that those are big pet peeves for them. How about lending something to someone and never getting it back?
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
You lend them a book, you lend them something, and then you never get it back.
Actually, I have
from
a
them.
book that Ben gave me in my bag right now. I should probably.
Uh-oh. All right. How about, for those of you online, redundant hashtagging, right? Just hashtagging all over the place about the same thing, right? This can be so hashtag annoying, hashtag obnoxious, hashtag bothersome, right? It's all the same thing.
Got it.
That will lead me to one of my social media ones, Bob.
Okay.
And that's people, Bob Stewart, who post the same exact thing on Instagram and then just click the share everything over to Facebook button. And you talk in hashtags on Instagram. That's not how we talk on Facebook.
Facebook has hashtags, don't
Of
they?
course they have hashtags,
hashtag
but we actually can speak English. We don't search by hashtags on Facebook.
I don't know what to tell you.
That's a pet peeve of mine when I go on Instagram and I see the exact
Wait,
same
have you
post.
unfollowed me on Facebook? Is that what you're telling me? You unfollowed me?
You'll have to go check. All right, so Bob, give me a social media style pet peeve that you might have out there.
I don't like oversharing by business acquaintances. Look, to each their own, I think, but I just feel like if you're
John Hurlbert sharing every goal that gets scored by the Seattle
No,
Kraken.
I don't mean that.
No, all right.
Although
Just giving
I
John
did
a
at one
shout out.
point have to-
Drink, John.
I just mean like if you are surrounding. Look, let's just be politics.
Yep.
I unfollow a lot of people when they like extreme on either side. By the way, I don't care which left, right. It doesn't. But like the extreme sharing when you're connecting and friending with business colleagues just feels weird to me. I don't know.
All right, and I'll give you one more that's very common. It's one of mine as well, especially with my movie Monday Love, and that's spoilers. When people don't warn you that there's a spoiler coming, right? When they just say, "Oh, and he's dead at the end of the movie," right? Yeah, thanks for ruining Sixth Sense for me, everybody. And by now you should have seen it, so there you go. All right.
Spoiler alert. You should have given that up front.
All right, Bob, let's talk about some business pet peeves for our audience out there that we have so they can learn to hopefully not be that person. Okay. So I'll give you the first one and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
So how about that person that has to comment on everything in the meeting? Right? The person that every single, I got it. Yep, I got it. Right? And they're always talking, and the meeting would be 10 minutes shorter if they just didn't show up.
I feel attacked right now, Chad.
That's not you, Bob. That's not you. Folks, if you're that person at the meeting, quiet down sometimes. You don't have to comment on everything that's going on. Bob, give me another pet peeve that you have.
I got a meeting one. How about the person checking their cell phone every 5 minutes? Like they're so important that I have a couple of people in my world that are probably important enough that they do need to, right? But like You're not that important. I'm not that important.
Okay, and on the cell phone side, how about the people who don't silence it in situations where it would be appropriate to put it on silent and it's going off during a podcast recording or it's going off during a meeting?
Again, what? I feel attacked. I'm actually I'm a 99% of the time phone silenced on vibrate guy, but
I don't even know
about 1% is always happens to be when we're recording podcasts.
I don't know what my phone even sounds like. I don't think I've ever had the volume up on it. All right, Bob, give me some other business pet peeves that we can help our audience avoid.
There's just something to me that feels wrong when somebody throws someone else under the bus. That's a pet peeve of mine. I don't. And look, maybe this is because Ben has created a culture of accountability around here, and he's the first guy to step up and say that this is on me.
Yep.
So I try really hard to take ownership of things that don't go right around here. And when we see or I hear somebody throwing somebody else under the bus, especially when they're not able to sit back and look if their DNA's on that thing anywhere, right? Yep. So for me, that's a business pet peeve to watch somebody throw somebody else under the bus.
Okay, and in that accountability conversation, Bob, not necessarily one of mine, but it was on the list of very popular pet peeves in the business world, because I don't pay attention to this, but it's people who roll their eyes at ideas and then never have an idea of their own to suggest.
Okay, so I have a similar one, which is the person that can always, and that, look, this is business. I think this is rampant in our politics. Again, there's a problem. Let me point it out to you. I don't have a solution for it. I just want everybody to know there's a problem.
Yeah, the black hat person, if we went back to that episode.
Yeah, but it's worse than that, right? Because the black hat from our recent episode,
hats, yep.
You're doing that on purpose, and then you're coming around and there's a white hat side, there's a green, there's a yellow, or whatever, right? So yes. That's by design, but we all know that person that, is like, oh, can't believe they do it that way. And well, how would you do it? Right? Like, I don't.
How about meetings that could have just been an email?
Oh.
Is there anything worse than someone who wants to call a meeting and it could have just been a simple email that 3 people answered and it was done?
Yeah. I had on my list, and I was meetings with no outcome. I don't like to go into a meeting and then you get done and you're like, okay, what did we decide? Or what was the outcome there? Why the hell were we even here? Right?
I think I'm going to throw you under the bus one more time, because I think there was one of Dave's.
No, that's one of my pet peeves. You can't throw me under the bus, dude.
That's why I'm doing it. I think it's because there you are tapping away on the desk, and Dave's probably sitting there going, that's one of my pet peeves, Bob. Stop tapping the desk while I'm recording the podcast.
Well, you guys, okay, yeah, that is a pet peeve of mine. You guys know, I'll let you guys in on a little secret. I'm a loud
It's not a secret. They can hear it.
Well, I'm a loud typer, right? So when I type, I don't know why this is. It's loud.
Oh, yeah.
And so you guys are always giving me a hard time in here about being a loud typer. I don't know what to do.
And I think that's a good one that you bring up, because that's not a pet peeve, right? I don't think I'm speaking for Dave on this and I'm speaking for Ben on this, but it's not a pet peeve to me. It's just become something that's annoyingly funny.
Okay.
Right? And I think that's part of that team building camaraderie, that you just type that way, and as soon as you start typing, the other 3 of us just start laughing. It's just fun. Pet peeve is that thing that every single time, remember, is going to annoy you.
I have a theme. I have a theme for my personal pet peeves. Have a theme.
Yeah, being in the car, it seems.
Well, no, they're around social norms.
Okay.
Like, I'll give you a couple of examples of people that don't acknowledge servers. Or don't say thanks when a server brings you something. To me, that's a social norm, is if somebody does something for you, you acknowledge it.
Correct.
Right? Or driving in the left lane. You're basically saying, I don't give a rip about anybody else on this freeway. This is my lane, right? And
I'm pretty sure they teach that in driving class.
Yeah. How about standing in line at let's say McDonald's. I take my boys once a week. We get a Happy Meal at McDonald's. I can't stand somebody that stands in line, then gets up to the counter, and then starts looking at the menu to try to decide what they want. I'm like, what are you doing? You don't stand in line. What are we doing when we're standing in line?
Yep.
Those social norms, it's like they don't have any, that's the standing in the middle of the sidewalk person.
Yep.
They don't have any awareness of what's going on around them. Probably half of my therapy sessions, Chad, are talking to my therapist about this kind of thing. It really fires me up. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. My therapist knows why.
That's another session, and we're not going to let everybody into that.
Social norms. For me, that's it's a thread that brings all my pet peeves together, I think.
Okay. How about really, really small print on things? Right? Why are you choosing the smallest font just to get it to fit on your business card or to get it fit on something that can't be read and
Not
it's
a pet
impossible?
peeve of mine. Like,
Doesn't
I have
bother
good
you?
eyesight, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe that's...
Wait till the eyes go, right?
No, they're going as we speak.
Oh, no. All right. How about people going to networking events that don't seem to want to talk to anybody?
Oh.
Right? Why'd you go? Why are you in the way?
I've been that guy. I have. Like, I've probably been dragged along or something.
That's
I don't
probably
know,
being
like...
dragged to things, right? Okay. And then what about not doing what you actually said you were going to do?
Oh, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
These are popular pet peeves, not necessarily
These are popular business pet peeves.
correct. And we want you to understand out there, Win, Make, Give audience, we believe you are better than average people, right? We're not going to say that you're awesome. We're all awesome. Everybody's awesome. Although, well, we are. And if you're listening to this, you are too, right? We as a group are all awesome. Yet we want us all, including Bob and myself here. Ben's already, got it, and he's not going to listen anyway to us. We want to be as good as we can.
Here's a pet peeve of mine. Start a podcast and then leave Bob and Chad to do the friggin' podcast. Where's Ben Kinney? No, I'm just kidding. You
He'll
guys
be
will, but when Ben does return, by the way,
Don't tell him Bob just said that.
Well,
You just threw him under the
it will
bus.
be riding in on a triumphant white horse, and you guys will all understand why he hasn't been here for the last couple of episodes. But
And yes, and we do have some coming that we already have. We've started a few episodes with Ben, but they were 2-parters or 3-parters, and we're waiting to drop that.
no, I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna record them next week when I'm gone. That's what you're gonna do, and then you
Bob,
guys are gonna
not gonna
trash
happen.
me on them, Dave. Dave, you tell me, okay?
Is that a pet peeve of yours that we trash you on the podcast when you're not here? Folks, we want to hear your pet peeves. We hope that you just laughed along with us at some of these pet peeves. We hope that if you recognized any of them in yourself, you now know some of the common pet peeves, or maybe the reason Bob or I aren't answering you on Facebook or something like that. Now you've got an idea of some of the top business pet peeves that are out there, so you can not be that person at the meeting who poo-poos everything and doesn't have any input of your own, who rolls your eyes, whose phone is beeping, who thinks you're more important than everybody, who wastes other people's time. That's another one of mine, Bob. I can't stand people wasting my time.
You like no-shows on your calendar? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, no shows on my calendar is a killer. And when I know I'm supposed to be somewhere at 1 o'clock and I show up at 1 o'clock because my dad taught me, if you're supposed to be there at 1, you're there at 12:45,
Sure.
and then everyone else shows up at 1:10 saying, oh, sorry, we're a few minutes late, if they even acknowledge it, drives me absolutely nuts. Audience, we know you're better than this. And we want you to come join us in our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/win-make-give. And we want to hear some of your top business and your top personal pet peeves. So
Don't use too many hashtags, though, apparently. And
we
don't-
can enjoy laughing along with each and every one of you, as we hope you laughed with us here today. Bob, you got one more pet peeve you want to throw out there so everyone knows to avoid this with Bob Stewart?
Oh, I don't know. No, I got it all out, Chad. That was everything I wanted to do today.
You don't need therapy session today. You can cancel that.
Yeah. No, I had my therapy yesterday, so I've got a whole week to build it back up.
Awesome.
No, I'm good, man.
Okay,
that
that's
was
great.
fun. That was
So
fun.
on behalf of Bob, on behalf of Dave and his double dipping pet peeves, on behalf of Ben, who's somewhere else at the moment, remember, do good.